Hey guys, it's Ree, what's up? I hope you're good. So today's video is my first ever true crime video. What made me do this case in particular, it's because it is a very popular case in the province of Quebec, and it's not known anywhere else. There's no English sources for anything except Wikipedia, because the French page was translated into English at some point. So yeah, really want to talk about it. Today's case is about Aurore the Martyr. It happened in 1920. It actually inspired 2 movies and 1 play in the province of Quebec since it happened, so in the past 100 years. The latest one was a movie that happened, I believe, in 2005. I might be wrong, because I'm going off of memory. I didn't write that down. Alright, so I have notes to go off of, and I hope I'm gonna do a good job, because I really love watching true crime. Anyways, let's get started. So Aurore was born on May 31st, 1909, and had a pretty normal life growing up. She was born at Saint-Flamand de Berthierville, which is about an hour, I guess, from Quebec. So, it's 100 kilometers. It's very close. She was born from her mother, Marianne Caron, and her father, Telesphore Gagnon. She was the second of 4 kids. Her father was a pretty well-known man in their village. He had a big farm and land, and his assets was about $10,000 back in 1920, which for today would be around $126,800. So it was a lot of money. Back in January of 1918, when she was 8 years old, her mother sadly passed away from tuberculosis. About a week later, her father remarried to her stepmother, Marianne Hood, who is the worst person. She is the one who will abuse Aurore for the rest of her life. So the reason he married so early was because he wasn't able to take care of his children and his land alone. And some sources, not all of them, say that Marianne Hood was actually living with them to help take care of the kids and the home while he was working on the lands and his wife was sick. She was actually Telesphore's cousin's widow. So, she was family. So that's why she was there to help. After their mother's death, the Gagnon children went and lived with their grandparents for a couple of months. And they moved back in the summer of 1918. So let's say about 5 months that they lived with their grandparents. In the summer of 1918 is when Aurore's hell began. She will die of her injuries on February 12th. 1920, and her father and mother and stepmother are the automatic 2 prime suspects, and they're actually arrested right after the funeral service, which was on February 14th, 1920. Her autopsy, done by the town's doctor, actually revealed 54 wounds. None of them were mortal, but none of them were also cured. It is said that she died from blood poisoning and general exhaustion due to all of those wounds. Something that makes me very sad about that is in the autopsy, it also says that there was approximately 16 ounces of pus and fluid between her scalp and her skull, which was from the biggest wound on her body, which was on the right side of her head. So the accusations that they got from the start were negligence and ill treatment. And later on, when they went to trial, he got a manslaughter charge and she got a murder charge. So now I'm going to go with the testimony of the trial. Because her big sister, Marie-Jeanne, who was 12 at the time, took the stand, as well as her little brother, George, who was 9 years old. Marie-Jeanne's Oud trial was 8 days long. Started on April 13th, 1920, and ended on April 21st, 1920. So here I have a list of like everything the stepmother would do, what the sister said. I read the court transcript for both her sister and her brother, and I had to take breaks because it's just so much. Aurore would sleep on the floor with only a blanket. Sometimes she would have a mattress, sometimes not, and sometimes it was just like a straw mattress on the floor. Marie-Jeanne, the sister, also said that the stepmother would go upstairs to beat her every single night with, she called it splinters of wood, so probably like smaller pieces of wood. It had also said that the stepmother would burn Aurore with a red hot poker, and she would burn her all over her body. But what the sister remember was that at least 3 times she was burnt so bad that the skin of her hand would be coming off, would be peeling off. Both the brother and the sister, both George and Marie-Jeanne, said that Marianne Oud would gag Aurore with a leather strap that their father actually used for hunting. And George also said that she would tie her to the kitchen table with other leather straps. She sometimes pulled Aurore's hair out. We don't know why. And the sister said that at the end, Aurore had a little boy's haircut because of that. And that they also saw that the biggest wound that she had on the right side of her head actually like had no more hair there, and that is why the wound was so severe. Like there was nothing to catch the blow when it happened. Marie-Jeanne also said that the stepmother would beat Aurore with a pitchfork handle on the back until she fell on the floor. When the judge asked her how many blows that was, she said at least 3. So there were 3 big blows. And when the judge asked Marie-Jeanne why they didn't tell their father, she said that it's because they were scared that her stepmother would beat them if they told the father, because the stepmother was only beating Aurore. And the doctor actually asked Aurore to tell him, like the town doctor, to tell him what was going on because her feet were battered at some point, and she said that it's 2 little boys in the village that did that. Was it actually 2 little boys? No, it was her stepmother. But her stepmother made her say it was 2 little boys. One of her teacher actually said that she went to the school for only 1 month and just never came back. So she probably was in the school, and then the beatings got so bad that the stepmother wouldn't let her go back to school. Her 9-year-old brother said like a lot of same things as the sister, but George also said that she spanked, beat, and burned her with the red hot poker and a stick. So again, it might be the splinters of wood that Marie-Jeanne said before. George also said that Marianne Caron didn't let Aurore eat or drink, and when she did let her drink, she mixed some laundry detergent in a mug with some water and made her drink that. Apparently that was in the last couple of days before her death that it happened. Gérard, who was her stepbrother, so Marianne Caron's actual son with her ex-husband, said that she would make Aurore walk barefoot in the snow for about 3 or 4 weeks. The thing is, it gets very fucking cold here in Canada, in the province of Quebec, in the winter, even more so back then, because of climate change. She probably had frostbite all over her feet just by staying in the snow for, let's say, 30 minutes. A neighbor said that, she told Marianne Caron to call the doctor because Aurore was gonna die. And this is a direct translation from a direct quote. The stepmother answered, "We're not spending $50 on her. Let her die and I won't shed a tear." Who in their right mind says that? Honestly. So she was pregnant during her trial, and after those testimonies, she saw that there was no way she would be found not guilty. So she pled insanity because of pregnancy hormones. And she was seen by 8 psychiatrists, and only 2 out of the 8 said that she was indeed mad/insane at the moment of the facts, even though the facts happened for a period of over 6 months. The bad beatings were over 6 months. So, after every testimony, the jury went to deliberate, and it only took them 15 minutes to be unanimous and charge her of premeditated murder. The sentence was to be hanged on October 1st, 1920. As I said, at the time of the trial, she was pregnant. And verbatim quote from the judge was, "As for the child to be born of this woman, there is nothing to fear for him. The law provides for this. A woman cannot be hanged while she is on the way to becoming a mother." So that is why, even though the trial was in April, she would be hanged in October. In prison, she birthed twins. One of them who would only survive for a couple of weeks and the other for a couple of months. On September 29th, so a couple of days before she was supposed to be hanged, her sentence was changed to life in prison. After 15 years, on July 3rd, 1935, she was released from prison because she had breast and brain cancer. She went to live with one of her cousins, and she died on May 13th, 1936. As for the father, his trial only lasted 5 days. It was after the one of Marianne Hood. So Théophile Gagnon had a 5-day trial from April 23rd to 28th. He was found guilty of manslaughter and sentenced to life in prison. He got out in 1925 for good behavior after only 5 years in prison. He was sentenced to life and got out after 5 years. He would exchange letters to his wife who was in prison until his wife died, and he would then go to remarry a 3rd time, again in Saint-Philomène de Berthierville, the same no village where everything happened. He would then die in September 1961 after living a pretty long life. So that is all I have for this case. I hope you enjoyed. I know it might not be the best true crime video ever, but this is a case that really hits when you grow up with it. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next video.